guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. This is the 2020 Dodge Durango, and there are several different trim levels available, this being the RT. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that includes as we work our way through the video. But I'll tell you what, since 1998, when the Durango model was first introduced to the Dodge lineup, it has definitely changed a lot, and I would say it has most certainly changed for the better compared to that original version that was based on the Dodge Dakota platform. Now, depending on your budget and or needs and desires, there are different trim levels available and 3 different engine options for the Durango as well. The engine options range from the V6 that puts out 293 horsepower all the way up to the 6.4-liter Hemi V8 that puts out a whopping 475 horsepower. This particular model is the RT that features the 5.7-liter Hemi V8 that makes 360 horsepower. All trim levels, with the exception of the SRT, are rear-wheel drive, the SRT being all-wheel drive. And for the 2020 model year, the 7-passenger Durango does not have any major changes when compared to the 2019 model year. However, it does continue to have a nice potential for a large amount of cargo space depending on what your needs are, with a potential payload of 1,719 pounds all the way up to 1,924 pounds depending on what trim level you purchase. The 7-passenger Durango can be converted to haul quite a large amount of cargo by lowering not only the rear seats but the middle seats as well. You do have an automatic lift gate with 3 different options for opening the lift gate, one being on the lift gate itself. There is a button on the interior, and you will also find a button for automatically opening and closing the lift gate on the remote, which, by the way, includes, of course, lock, unlock, the button for opening and closing your lift gate, a panic button, and automatic start for the engine. And a couple of noteworthy features here in the rear. You do have a button that will allow you to close the lift gate right back here on the left side of the interior, which, by the way, it doesn't happen immediately. It gives you a couple of warning beeps, and so you'll be good and safe to get out of the way. There are sensors that will keep it from closing if a person or object happen to be in the way as well. The interior of the Durango is spacious with a large touchscreen that is one of the best in class, in addition to steering wheel mounted controls and shifter paddles. The Durango is capable of towing up to 7,400 pounds. However, the Durango's size and weight make it rather thirsty for gas. The RT model gets 14 miles per gallon city and 22 highway. If you are looking for a high-performance SUV, the Durango will most certainly deliver with room to spare, but may not be suited for those seeking a more common 3-row SUV. Okay guys, I'm out here on the road with the Durango, and I don't have it in sport mode yet. I'm going to put it in sport mode in just a minute, but I just wanted to kind of see how it did just as it is without being in sport mode. And of course, the handling is really good. It's typical of an SUV. It's not going to be as easy to drive through a corner as a sports car, of course, kind of just simple information there, but still it does hug the road very well. I love the feeling of the steering wheel. It's nice and comfortable, and it's very responsive. I like the fact that the RT, and I'm sure the SRT is probably even better, has really good, tight, and responsive steering to it, and hopefully the camera won't shake too bad driving over some railroad tracks here. So I'm gonna stick this in sport mode now. We're gonna get out here on the road and see how it handles maybe a little bit differently. Not too bad. Not too bad. A lot of fun to drive. I have to say, everything about the Durango is fun.
Now, like I said, the gas mileage is a little below average, so something to consider. But as long as you don't do what I just did all the time, you're not going to be in really bad shape, I don't think, with that. So I'm going to go up here to a road that I don't normally do a lot of test drives on, but it's in an area that's close to where I live, so I'm very familiar with it, and has some nice twists and turns, and I can really give you a good idea for how the Durango handles. Now, like I said earlier in the review, this is a little bit larger and a little bit bulkier than some of the other SUVs that are in the class that the Durango fits into, but you know, for me, it's not too bad. And I think part of that is because I drive a full-size truck every day of the week. That's my daily driver for the time being. So it's not too bad for me personally, but for somebody who's maybe used to a smaller vehicle, a smaller SUV, that might not be the case, but I don't think it would take you long to get used to it. It's, like I said, comfortable. The interior is not only comfortable, but the ride is pretty comfortable too. I remember riding in a Durango probably 20 years ago or so, roughly, when they were fairly new, and it was a much stiffer ride than what I have experienced here with this particular model. So obviously Dodge has continued to hone their craft and make improvements over the years to the Durango, and I must say, those are definitely paying off in a very enjoyable drive and a very enjoyable ride. So we're going to cruise on through here and see how the Durango handles through some of these corners on the road that I'm on now. A little bit of body roll, about what you would probably expect. Not terrible, it's not like a Suburban or something that's a full-size SUV, but I can definitely tell that you want to get used to the handling first before you go too fast through corners on roads you may be used to. But ultimately, it's not bad. It's responsive. You know, I just can't help it. That sounds so good, and the acceleration is nice. I'd love to do a video on an SRT, the all-wheel drive version of the Durango with the 475 horsepower. So I have to say, I am impressed regardless with what I have been able to experience here today with the Durango RT. Now, I'm going through a pretty good little corner here, getting a little more used to the handling of the Durango, and I must say, that was greatly improved from the first corner I went through, just because I'm a little more used to the steering and the handling of the Durango. Just like anything else, you get used to it and you're going to be able to be a lot more smooth on the steering wheel. And that brings to a close my time with the 2020 Dodge Durango. You know, if I was looking for something like this, I have to say, I would likely opt for the RT or maybe the SRT. I like horsepower, I like the way the Durango drives. It's a really solid SUV if you don't mind its size. Tell me what you think down in the comments, especially if you own one of these. And make sure to subscribe to Vehicle Visionary for more videos like this. I'm going to see you next time, guys. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful day.